I also have been playing Modern Warfare 2, the new one.
What?
Yep. Basically, some people have access to it already. If you like pre-ordered it, you got like access to the early campaign. I'm doing it for work, so I also just have access to it early. But there's not like embargo information, so I can just talk freely about it. Call of Duty. Well, they're still doing it, believe it or not, and it's still that. The last Call of Duty I played was COD Blops Cow, which was the Cold War one.
Excuse me? You said Cow Blops Cow?
COD Blops Cow, Justin. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. You know?
I mean, that sounds like something you want to get removed.
Your COD Blops are, yeah. And that was like fine. I didn't like it very much. I thought the story was just like gross, and I think the story is even grosser. Here's a scene where there's a section where you are playing as Mexican Special Forces, and you're chasing a guy who is fleeing from Mexico into the United States over the border wall. So you climb up over the border wall, and your character goes like, "Hey, probably shouldn't do this. We don't have any jurisdiction in the United States." And the guy who's in the other guy who like you're running around with is basically like, "Yeah, but like we don't want to let this terrorist get away." So these two guys go over the wall, go into the United States, and start just pointing their guns at civilians because this guy's like running through these houses, basically being like, "Where the fuck did he go?" And so what ends up happening is you have the prompt to like hold LT, like left trigger, to de-escalate civilians or something like that. You know what the left trigger does in Call of Duty?
Isn't that aim?
You aim your gun. So you just like straight up point your weapon at civilians, and they're like, okay, fine. Like, sorry. And they go back in their houses. And then you end up busting through someone's house, into someone's house, because you think that the bad guy went in there. And then the people in there are like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? You have like automatic weapons, like holy shit. Like they're freaking out. And so there's two guys and a woman in there, and the guy that you're not controlling grabs the woman, and he like throws her into another room, and he comes out and he's like, where the fuck did he go? And then the two guys are agitated because they think you're an intruder in their house. So they pull out guns and point them at you, and then you kill them both, and then you move on. And like the reaction to that is just like the other guy's like, oh shit, like we got to get medical out here. Like we got some civilians injured. No, they're like mega dead in a pool of their own blood in their house that you entered illegally because you don't have any jurisdiction. It's just and that's not even like a plot point. You know what I mean? No one's like, holy shit, that was so fucked up what we just did. It was just like a thing that happens and then you move on. And I don't know. It just feels gross to me. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
What is the story generally about? Like, does it follow specific characters or? Yeah,
you're chasing a terrorist who has American missiles. Basically, is like the inciting incident. You find these you are like trying to get to this terrorist bunker in the Middle East or something like that, and then you break in and he's not there, but they left some missiles there that have the United States flag on them. So it's clear that someone dealt them a missile, which is a big deal, right? And so you're just like, it's a globe-trotting adventure where you're chasing this terrorist. And Soap is back, and Commander Price is back, and Ghost is there. And Ghost is so, like... It's insane to me that Ghost is the main character and protagonist of a game and, like, a good guy. Like, the whole time he's just, like, he's irritable. He's not a team player. He's a rogue agent. And he wears a fucking human skull on his face. Like, it's just so wild that he's the good guy and he's like the guy that you're rooting for. I don't know. Like, I know I'm like, it's not a new take of like, oh, Call of Duty is actually kind of politically gross and bad, actually. Like, I know that's like super not a new hot take, but every time I play a new one of these, I'm just like, wow, someone sat down and wrote this and thought like, and isn't willing to address the fact that like, oh, this is weird and odd and a little suspect, you know?
Is there like, did you play multiplayer on this at all, or is it just strictly story at this point?
I don't know if I don't know if that's the servers are up or not. I've just been doing the story because that's just what I needed to do for work.
Okay. And like in terms of like the actual like gameplay stuff, how is the gameplay aspect of it?
So I think so I've not played Warzone, but I think it uses all of the mechanics from Warzone. For example, like in one of the missions, you end up opening a backpack and you've got a bunch of different things that you can choose from, like grenades and other like consumable items to choose from. You have your regular sprint, which is like medium speed, and then you have like an all-out sprint where you're just like hauling it. You can mount your weapon on walls and stuff to get better accuracy and also like peek out of corners and things like that. But I don't know if that's
new.
Yeah. It's tough for me to say, but I mean, it's the same first person shooting, but it's a little bit more tactical, I think, which is the stuff that's in Warzone, I know. But yeah, but it's pretty cut and dry, you know.
And graphically, does it look good?
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. It's one of those things where like I feel like these games, not to be like dismissive, but I feel like these games all look the same. Yeah. Like it looks like they have like really nice looking, you know, graphics and environments and stuff like that. But like there's nothing visually that really separates them because it's all just like the gunmetal and like it's like brown and like shanty houses and stuff that you're just like kicking the doors in, being like just screaming at people like, where the fuck are they? Like,
that's how Batman does it during the day, right?
Yeah, but it's basically just Batman shit. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I've seen some people saying like I'm really enjoying the campaign so far, and I'm sure it's good if you like Call of Duty campaigns, but it just for me like feels weird and like not so good in my opinion. But that's just where I'm at, like in terms of like thinking about the American military and stuff like that. And even there's a point where they do talk to a terrorist and they say like you're a terrorist, like you're the head of the world's biggest terrorist organization, and then the guy says like I could say the same thing about you, like about the American military, which I think is a very interesting point that would be interesting to grapple with and talk about. And then they just go like fuck you, and then they move on. like it's I think frustrating because like it's clear that they're willing to bring that up and like talk about that, but it's not, they're not willing to like actually have a conversation about it other than just like making the bad guy say it and being like, because it's never brought up in a way that's like, isn't that a good point? It's just like two sides of a different coin, you know, or of the same coin or whatever. So
it's like they grapple with the ideas, but they just don't execute it in a way that like actually makes the idea anything other than just a line of dialogue.
It's like they just mention it and then they move on, being like, well, we talked about it. It's like, no, we didn't talk about it. You just mentioned it.
Good enough.
Exactly, right. So there you go. Modern Warfare 2. If you like Modern Warfare, the first one, like the original ones from back in the day, or the one from 2019, you'll probably like this. I'm not trying to poo-poo on all your fun. That's just how I feel.